8:50 p.m. Pacific Time on Saturday, November 6th, 2021. The season shifts. Gu Iznul Hz Zps rilcvc Hz. And one takes up and puts on the ring of winter. Gu Iznul Hz Zps rilcvc Hz. And puts on the reflective and cyclical silver and the white of the obsidian with the black of the obsidian in the coming of what used to be called winter. Gu Iznul Hz Zps rilcvc Hz. And dons the pentacle of earth, but chooses the names that fit the type and what their own intentions are as they bind themselves or encircle themselves around with the twine. Gu Iznul Hz Zps rilcvc Hz. We look upon these signs that are bound to be misunderstood, but we'll explain them as we go on. Gu Iznul Hz Zps rilcvc Hz. Upon what reminds of three bones and the head of things. For the predicted change of consciousness. Gu Iznul Hz Zps rilcvc Hz. And starting with this one, the different varieties of the world fruit that we have as we start some seasons and others, and the black houses of winter to open the gates. Gu Iznul Hz Zps rilcvc and the winter cup, making about the hand and the receiving in our becoming. Gu Iznul Hz Zps rilcvc the hats representing the seasons, the mulberry, whatever that means to you, and a final candle to pay attention to is the black candle, because we will be in the darkest time of year when this comes about. So ask yourselves the question of the day, that first Sunday, very fitting for the time to be changing with that. What can we do to accelerate the fruition of our plans? And the lunar, or night question, really, regardless of the lunar stage, what do you remember of the darkest quarter of the year, formerly called winter, from your childhood? And we have a selection of verses, and we're going to end with that, right? From the depths to the heights, from the inside to the outside, vice versa, we welcome the council beyond twilight and release the false light that clouds us from the death energy. Those who have gone before have something worthwhile in their legacy. Be thou active and learn from their memory. To give and to take. The middle of the night grants ability. Some passively or actively fall into perdition. Others go beyond flesh and blood with responsibility towards a celestial actualization. Controlled detachment is a means of realization. Made or reborn, into what is your decision. Whether or not there will be a sort of hibernation, we hear and see them as outside our mentality. Enough with the artificial positivity and false ascension. The owls, bats, toads, and beings of declination are as friends and family. Upon the temporal and eternal night, we won't be held back by apprehension. The elders, immortals, and inherited wisdom is put into consideration. The origin of our becoming blackens the ways that the usurpers imposed on creation. The swastika spins with beastly forms, whose shoulders bear the dragons. They hail victory. That is amoral and immoral, as they are fed by creation. When to be negative and what to destroy is our decision. In the cold, dark nights in the north is family according to our decision. Which side we pick is our decision. Keeping the secret of what is inside, we send forth our projection. We claim a connection to more than humanity. Our limits are not out of slavery, but we find them out by the experience of realization. We transcend fantasy and fetishism in what we do to the non-physical bodies. Attracting what is outside us, we externalize our extension. May each empowering practice be without pretension. The empty mundanes remain ripe for manipulation. Those who have awakened the inner vampire identify with the demons of predation. Their nightmare is spread as they join counter-creation. Hell on earth, criminality, and denial of religious obligation is spread for Satan. Beyond ancestral and national boundaries is the increase of corruption. Will we become what we try to conquer, or be in charge of our own spirituality? We will not be ruled by materiality, but use it and society according to our intentions. Consequences will fall indiscriminately. Designations become clear by who will do what it takes and how they might approach being immune. And so we saw that some of the meaning is contained in whatever side you want to take. This gets into the whole Temple of the Black Vampire mythology and some other areas of the mythology of the coming season and stuff, but this is the area where, not talking about, there's nothing prejudicial about that symbol or any of the other symbols that I use. It's very misunderstood, a lot of people and what they have to say with that sort of stuff. But the verses in the mainstream faiths, you could say, let's turn to Psalms 94, because let's share the translations here. Psalm 94:16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers, or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? And Daniel 8:4. And I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beasts might stand before him, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will, and became great. Yeah, you can decide where you're gonna put your will, your actions and that sort of stuff, but the left-hand path, it's more about becoming and identifying than rather just merely connecting. I mean, it's hard to tell the difference between the two sometimes, from external, from individual beliefs or practices, but Isaiah 4:1-6 is what we are going to talk about now. I guess that's the whole chapter. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. 7's a bit much, but for some, in that day shall the branch of the Lord, and I presume they mean Yahweh, Lord is probably a mistranslation, be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion, and he that remaineth in Jerusalem, shall be called holy, even every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem. When the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning. Are we going to have a nuclear war or something? And the Lord will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion, and upon our assemblies, a cloud and smoke by day, and the shining of a flame in fire by night. For upon all glory shall be a defense. And that was the black verses. The yellow verses starts with John 6:53. Then Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, ye have no life in you. So, sort of a symbolic vampirism wolf sort of thing going on, don't you think? 13:2. And the supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him. And also Ephesians 6:10-18. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and put your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all power and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. And now we move on to the green verses. Al-Quran 2:72 renders kind of like, and mention when you killed an individual, then you put up an argument over it, and God was one who drives out what you had been keeping back. And 368 renders like, those who said to their brethren while they set back, if they obeyed us, they would not have been killed, say, then drive off death from yourselves. And